Alright, welcome back to this new inspirational video. Today we're gonna go over chapter 6 of The Science of Getting Rich, and it's titled, How Riches Come to You. Now Wallace wrote the following: when I say that you do not have to drive sharp bargains, I do not mean that you do not have to drive any bargains at all, or that you are above the necessity for having any dealings with your fellow man. I mean that you will not need to deal with them unfairly. You do not have to get something for nothing, but can give to every man more than you take from him. You cannot give every man more in cash market value than you take from him, but you can give him more in use value than the cash value of the thing you take from him. Now right here, the chapter How Riches Come to You, because this is what most people might be very interested in, figuring out, okay, this book sounds interesting and all, but how do I get rich? How do the riches come to me? Well, first of all, remember what we said in the previous chapters. We must become a creator. Now, riches can come to you in numerous ways. The idea being here that you can create your own forms of service through which you can generate wealth. Make no mistake about it, this is the new paradigm that you need to adopt into your life. Usually our paradigm is one of a day job, that is the way to make a living, but if we want to apply the teachings of this book, we're going to have to shift that around towards the concept that we are going to become creators and we're going to create business for ourselves. That is what this whole chapter is going to be about. That is why Wallace said that you can give other people more in use value than the cash value of the thing you take from them. He went on to say the paper, ink and other material in this book may not be worth the money you pay for it, but if the ideas suggested by it bring you thousands of dollars, you have not been wronged by those who sold it to you. They have given you a great use value for a small cash value. Now you want to understand that you want to make sure people are better off after doing business with you. Think about it. If you can use your imagination to create any sort of business you want, generate wealth in any sort of activity you desire, then all we want to focus on is being sure that people are better off after doing business with us, so that we leave them with a good feeling, with a good impression, and so they would like to keep doing business with us in the long run. And when you rise from the competitive to the creative plane, you can scan your business transactions very strictly, and if you are selling any man anything which does not add more to his life than the thing he gives you in exchange, you can afford to stop it. You do not have to beat anybody in business, and if you are in a business which does beat people, get out of it at once. Give every man more in use value than you take from him in cash value. Then you are adding to the life of the world by every business transaction. So I made a note here when I was reading this book for myself, saying always create good useful service in return for the money you would like to earn. Really consider this for yourself. If you want more wealth in your life financially, what sort of service would you like to provide humanity, your fellow man? And that service is going to be created through your imagination, and then you can act upon it on the physical plane of life. That's all there is to how riches come to you. Now, if you have people working for you, you must take from them more in cash than you pay them in wages. But you can so organize your business that it will be filled with the principle of advancement, and so that each employee who wishes to do so may advance a little every day. You can make your business do for your employees what this book is doing for you. You can so conduct your business that it will be a sort of ladder by which every employee who will take the trouble may climb to riches himself, and given the opportunity, if he will not do so, it is not your fault. And finally, because you are to cause the creation of your riches from formless substance, which permeates all your environment, it does not follow that they are to take shape from the atmosphere and come into being before your eyes. If you want a sewing machine, for instance, I do not mean to tell you that you are to impress the thought of a sewing machine on thinking substance until the machine is formed without hands in the room where you sit or elsewhere. But if you want a sewing machine, hold the mental image of it with the most positive certainty that it is being made or is on its way to you. After once forming the thought, have the most absolute and unquestioning faith that the sewing machine is coming. Never think of it or speak of it in any other way than as being sure to arrive. claim it as already yours. Now this is exactly what you're going to have to do with your own dream. Whatever it is, you're going to have to start speaking in ways and thinking in ways that it implies that there is no other way than as being sure to arrive, as being sure to manifest. You're going to have to start feeling and thinking in terms that you can achieve the dream that you hold inside your consciousness. You're going to have to claim it as already yours. You're going to have to feel as if you're already successful. You're going to have to feel as if you're already wealthy. This is the real trick. Now, most people might have some issues at first with doing this if they're not trained enough, but this is what you want to start training yourself to do. As I'm doing it, I have constant proof that I find renewed purpose, renewed motivation, renewed inspiration to keep going on a daily basis to work on my own dreams in life. Why is that? Well, because I already claimed the very good that I desire. So in my case, I see in my imagination exactly the sort of service I want to provide to humanity, and I live up to that state. I live up to that statement inside my consciousness. I have already claimed it as being part of my life. I don't speak of it or think of it in any other way than as being sure that I will realize this purpose in my life, because I'm already doing it. I'm already acting on this dream. And it can be the same for you once you start applying this. And now what will happen next? Well, as Wallace said, the realization of your dream will be brought to you by the power of the supreme intelligence acting upon the minds of man. So people are going to be influenced unconsciously to help you realize your dream. It's very true. It might sound kind of like magic, but since unity is the law of life, it actually makes a lot of sense. If you hold to a strong purpose inside your consciousness, the ways for its realization are set in motion. If you live in Maine, it may be that a man will be brought from Texas or Japan to engage in some transaction which will result in you getting what you want. If so, the whole matter will be as much to that man's advantage as it is to yours. Do not forget for a moment that the thinking substance is through all, in all, communicating with all, and can influence all. The desire of thinking substance for fuller life and better living has caused the creation of all the sewing machines already made, and it can cause the creation of millions more, and will, whenever man set it in motion by desire and faith, and by acting in a certain way. You can certainly have a sewing machine in your house, and it is just as certain that you can have any other thing or things which you want, and which you will use for the advancement of your own life and the lives of others. You need not hesitate about asking largely. It is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom, said Jesus. Original substance wants to live all that is possible in you and wants you to have all that you can or will use for the living of the most abundant life. If you fix upon your consciousness the fact that the desire you feel for the possession of riches is one with the desire of omnipotence for more complete expression, your faith becomes invincible. Once I saw a little boy sitting at a piano and vainly trying to bring harmony out of the keys, and I saw that he was grieved and provoked by his inability to play real music. I asked him the cause of his vexation, and he answered, "I can feel the music in me, but I can't make my hands go right." The music in him was the urge of original substance, containing all the possibilities of all life. All that there is of music was seeking expression through the child. Now, again, think about what he just said. Talking about a child that can feel the music in himself, but he can't make his hands go right. That is essentially how it will go for you. When you finally decide to go for your greatest dreams in life, at first you might feel you're not really able to properly act on the dream. But here comes the trick. You want to start thinking about how you can act on your dream, what sort of activities you can be involved in right now, and then on a daily basis just start getting better at doing those activities. Keep improving on it, keep working on it, keep perfecting your skills on acting on your own dream, and over time you'll be in a position to do more and more bigger and bigger things concerning your own dreams in life. That is how you expand and advance yourself from your current circumstances. So the desire you have is very positive. It's a good sign. If you truly know what you want and you desire its realization, then you'll automatically be compelled to develop all the skills that are needed in order to make it a reality, as long as you hold on to that purpose. as long as you never ever let it go ever again. Now Wallace went on to say, God, the one substance, is trying to live and do and enjoy things through humanity. He is saying, I want hands to build wonderful structures, to play divine harmonies, to paint glorious pictures. I want feet to run my errands, eyes to see my beauties, tongues to tell mighty truths and to sing marvelous songs, and so on. All that there is of possibility is seeking expression through man. Now I made an additional note here for myself that I'll share with you, and that is that it said, the way to express your dream is by obeying the desires without contradicting thoughts or emotions. So you have to reach a place that you can consciously recognize when this is happening. So you have this dream in your imagination, you know what you want, but more often than not, we're contradicting ourselves through our thoughts and the way we feel about that dream. We're not really sure, we're not really confident that we can actually realize it. We want to get rid of that state of mind. We want to fill ourselves full of confidence and assurance that this desire is given to us by God, and therefore it's right for us to go for it. We are granted the power to make it happen. That's why we have the desire. Again, remember, desire is possibility seeking expression or function seeking performance with and through us. So never ever give up on your own desires, because as Wallace said, God wants those who can play music to have pianos and every other instrument, and to have the means to cultivate their talents to the fullest extent. He wants those who can appreciate beauty to be able to surround themselves with beautiful things. He wants those who can discern truth to have every opportunity to travel and observe. He wants those who can appreciate dress to be beautifully clothed, and those who can appreciate good food to be luxuriously fed. God wants all these things because it is Himself that enjoys and appreciates them. It is God who wants you to play and sing, and enjoy beauty, and proclaim truth, and wear fine clothes, and eat good foods. It is God that worketh in you to will and to do, said Paul. The desire you feel for riches is the infinite seeking to express Himself in you, as He sought to find expression in the little boy at the piano, so you need not hesitate to ask largely. Your part is to vocalize and express the desire to God. Now, I made an additional note here as well, and it said, in order to vocalize and express the desire to God, all I have to do is mentally see and emotionally feel within my being I have what I want and I can do what I want. I have to reach a point, you have to reach a point that you can honestly see the realization of your dream inside your imagination. You see the end result that you're after, but you also want to reach a point that you can truly feel that you're capable of making this happen. How do you reach that point? Well, let's go back a little bit. By completely understanding that the desire you feel for the realization of your dream is the infinite seeking to express Himself in you, as He sought to find expression in the little boy at the piano. In other words, it is the Spirit of God that wants you to realize that dream that you're having inside your consciousness. It is God-given, because if you were to realize that dream, if you were to really go for it, then your life would improve so much, you would become so happy that you're actually a benefit to this world once and for all, because you're operating from that angle that you were supposed to operate from in your own unique way. We all have these desires because it's God's way of making sure that we all live according to our own uniqueness in this world. Sadly though, as a society we suppress those desires, we're trained to suppress them. But now comes the time to actually express them, and that is how riches will come to you, through the expression of your own dreams. Now Wallace went on to say, all of this is a difficult point with most people. They retain something of the old idea that poverty and self-sacrifice are pleasing to God. They look upon poverty as a part of the plan, a necessity of nature. They have the idea that God has finished His work and made all that He can make, and that the majority of man must stay poor because there's not enough to go around. They hold to so much of this erroneous thought that they feel ashamed to ask for wealth. They try not to want more than a very modest competence, just enough to make them fairly comfortable. I recall now the case of one student who was told that he must get in mind a clear picture of the things he desired, so that the creative thought of them might be impressed on formless substance. He was a very poor man, living in a rented house and having only what he earned from day to day, and he could not grasp the fact that all wealth was his. So after thinking the matter over, he decided that he might reasonably ask for a new rug for the floor of his best room, and an anthracite coal stove to heat the house during the cold weather. Following the instructions given in this book, he obtained these things in a few months, and then it dawned upon him that he had not asked enough. He went through the house in which he lived and planned all the improvements he would like to make in it. He mentally added a bay window here and a room there, until it was complete in his mind as his ideal home, and then he planned its furnishings. Holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in a certain way and moving toward what he wanted, and he owns the house now and is rebuilding it after the form of his mental image. And now, with still larger faith, he is going on to get greater things. It has been unto him according to his faith, and it is so with you and with all of us. Now that is the end of the chapter. But this final paragraph is so important, because this is the process through which you will realize whatsoever you desire. He said, holding the whole picture in his mind, this student began living in a certain way. So, in your case, you're going to have to hold the vision of what you want in your mind and then start living according to the vision. That is what it means to live in a certain way. The student started moving toward what he wanted. He owns the house now and is rebuilding it after the form of his mental image. You see, there we have it. You got this vision, this dream inside your consciousness. You know exactly what you want, you know what you desire. It's clear to you all along. But now you want to rebuild your life after the form of that mental vision, of that dream. That's all there really is to it. Think about it. Everybody has dreams, but not everybody achieves their dreams. Why is that? Because they're not really rebuilding their life after the form of their own mental image. They're not really rebuilding their lives according to what the dream dictates. But if you start doing that, then you start seeing some results. Then you see improvements happen in your world. The reason why most people don't do it, though, is because of the doubts and worries and fears they have. They don't know if they should really go for this dream. They don't know if they deserve to achieve such big success. They don't know if they can, this and that. But if we burn into our minds that the desires we have are God-given, then we can't say, oh, I won't go for it. It's God-given. So if you don't go for your dreams while knowing this, it's like you're saying, well, God doesn't deserve to express this with and through me. That's absurd, isn't it? At least most of us would say that's really weird to start reasoning like that, but that is what it comes down to now that we're made aware of the fact that the desires we have inside our consciousness are given to us by God itself. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.